Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the junior men's race at the 2023 Europe Triathlon Junior Cup Yenişehir. My name is Paul Groves, and we're going to show you a little clip from what happened last year.
Gentlemen, welcome to Turkey, Merhaba, and we'd like to welcome you very, very much to this, the 2022 Yenişehir Europe Triathlon Cup. Hungary, taking the goal.
They decided not to cancel the race, but rather to move it to the end of the season. So instead of it being the opening race, it's the final race of the Europe Triathlon season. We had the junior women racing just a short while ago, and we had history being made. For the first time in triathlon history, a gold medal went to the host nation, Turkey. In second place, we had a young athlete from the Netherlands, and Merel Veldman. We had the chance to speak to her yesterday. So let's see what she had to say about the race yesterday before she took a silver today. We have now one of our first athletes just come out of the water. Can you tell me please who you are and where you're from?
My name is Merel Veldman and I represent the Netherlands.
Represent the Netherlands. I see you're wearing number 3. So is this from today's race or from, this weekend's race, or is it from last week?
No, this weekend I have number 11, but this one is from the European Championships in Laboe last year.
Okay. You've travelled all the way down from the Netherlands and you've arrived here to glorious sunshine. You've been out in the water. What's the water like at the moment?
It's very choppy, so it's quite different than what I'm used to. And it's very salty, but it's a really nice temperature.
If it's nice and salty, that means you'll be floating quite high in the water.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely coming down to some technique in swimming, but yeah, I'm excited. It's like nice.
Okay, so you're racing on the Saturday. You're still a junior.
Yes, 1:30 local time, so gonna be hot then, but no, I'm excited. Really happy. Last race of the season. So
last race of the season. So for you, as the last race of the season, does it mean that you now start relaxing? What is your winter going to be for you?
Well, I had a really tough beginning of the season, so I'm going straight into the running season for me in the winter. I'm doing a lot of cross country and just like road racing. So next weekend I have a 5K race, so I'm not going into any off season, so just starting the running season then.
Merel Veldman, all the very best for the race tomorrow, and we will be watching you.
Yes, thank you so much.
And now, before you finish, a message for everyone back home in het Nederlands graag.
Nou, iedereen in Nederland, heel veel plezier met de regen en de kou. En ja, ik geniet hier wel in het zonnetje.
Lovely, thank you. I'm in the Netherlands. Enjoy the cold and the rain because it's wonderfully warm here. One of our rising stars, and a little later on today we're going to have Pascal Salamin, Executive Board Member, and he will tell you more about the rising stars, because if you go to the Europe Triathlon YouTube page you can find lots of video clips of our rising stars, and you will then be able to see a short interview with Merel Veldman, a rising star who rose today to the silver medal position on the podium. We are also going to hear from either John Petridis, our technical delegate, or possibly from Lyudmila. I think it will be John Petridis. So our technical delegate was interviewed yesterday ahead of the race. John, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on to our next interviewer and We'll start that again.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next person to be interviewed is a man who's been putting in an awful lot of time behind the scenes. His face will be recognized by many, but it's an opportunity for you now to tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
I'm John Petridis, I'm from Great Britain, and I'm the technical delegate for this event.
Now, as technical delegate, basically on race day, the organisers give you complete control of the event. Isn't that the case?
That's correct, and we deliver the event here.
And there's been a lot of preparation. This doesn't happen overnight. This has been months and months of preparation, and you've been working very closely with the Federation and the LOC here. Has it been an easy journey for you?
The advantage I have is I was here last year for the event. A lot of the work is duplicated, but not everything, but we never ever take anything for granted. It has been difficult at times, but we are getting there and everything is starting to fall into place.
We've got a good lineup of athletes for the week for this weekend's races of Saturday and Sunday, a mixture of juniors and elites. Do you find it exciting to watch the new juniors coming into the races?
Oh, I think it's excellent. This is the future of the sport. It's nice to have plenty of juniors here racing, and it'll be interesting to see how many of these juniors will eventually make Olympic podiums.
It's funny you should mention that, John, because I was thinking whether I should ask the question or not. You happen to be an organiser of a very big event in the UK, and many years ago a very young boy came to your race. Would you like to tell us who he is and where he is now?
Well, he's actually part of our club, and he used to give out the medals at the finish line. Alex Yee. He's doing reasonably well now, as most people know. Alex is doing very well for himself, and I still remember the days that we used to swim together in the pool on the training days.
You see, he was a junior there, and nobody could predict what his future would be. And amongst the juniors we see racing tomorrow, it may well be that one or two of those will be on the start line at a future Olympics. And I think that's part of what gives me pleasure and you pleasure at these races.
Yes, that's so true. I mean, Alex Yee is one individual. If you think of him as a name only, there are lots of Alex Yees out there. There are lots of juniors out there that can perform as good or better. But it's given them the opportunity to be able to perform at this level at events like this in Yenişehir.
And this is one of the advantages of having a race like this in Turkey. The Turkish Federation is able to deliver top quality events in very safe conditions.
Yes, I mean, all the preparations for this event have gone exactly as we have planned. Yes, it's been a little bit of hard work and many, many months of work. I would say probably at least anywhere between 6 and 8 months of work has gone into this event, but it's all well worth it in the end.
And I'm looking forward to this race, and it's the end of the season. John Petridis from Great Britain, technical delegate, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Happening now is the athletes are being introduced one by one making their way down onto the start position. They will take position based upon their international ranking. Let's give you a quick rundown. So, wearing number 1 from Slovenia, the 2023 Slovenian national champion, Uldenša. Number 2 from Kazakhstan, winner of silver at the 2021 Europe Triathlon Junior Cup in Dnipro. That is Yegor Krupjakov. Number 3 from Kazakhstan is Maxim Shmulich. Number 4 from Kazakhstan, the reigning junior Asian champion, is Alexander Ten. From Bulgaria, winner of silver medals this year at the European Junior Cup in Chisinau and at the European Balkan Championships in Bar, that is Alexander Bozilov. Number 6 from Slovenia, Domen Bojans. Number 7 from North Macedonia, the reigning North Macedonian junior triathlon and duathlon champion, Stefan Delav. 8 from Croatia, winner of gold this year at the Junior European Cup in Panavesis, Gabriel Barac. Number 9 from the Czech Republic, Jakub Suchek. 10 from the Czech Republic, Simon Michalek. 11 from Italy, gold medal winner this year in Bled at the Junior Cup, Lorenzo Pellicciardi. Number 12 from Italy, gold medal winner at the 2023 Europe Triathlon Cross Championships in Riva del Garda, and silver medal at the Cross Duathlon Championships, Lucas Lanziga. 14 from Italy, Marco Balestreri. 15 from Moldova, Danil Babanci. 16 from Latvia, the 2023 Latvian national champion, Mix Myers. 17 from Turkey, Turka Kemal Kürk. 18 from Austria, Maro Schober. 19 from Turkey is Huzir Deniz Demirleng. Number 20 from Turkey, Arda Bayram. 21 from Ukraine is Fedia Bezepkin, who lives in Antalya. Number 22 from Poland, Jarosław Jankiewicz Delgado. 24 from Turkey, Arda Aracha. 25 from Italy, Gianluca Zenaro. 26 from Turkey, Mehmet Aydin. 28 from Italy, Andrea Vergani. 29 from Turkey, Abdurrahman Yazıcı. 30 from Turkey is Bahadir Furkan Özerkuşu. Number 31 from Kazakhstan is Said Nazarov. 32 from Italy is Andrea Balestreri. Number 33 from Turkey is Bediran Efe Altendaş. 30 athletes, 13 nations. Unfortunately, we've lost a huge contingent of Israeli athletes who were due to race here. It really is a shame, and from me personally, I'd like to say how much we miss you, because the big team here in their blue uniforms would always be a welcome addition, and I wish you all safety back in Israel. They're under starters' orders. The heartbeat is now sounding. The water temperature is 26 plus. The air temperature is over 30 degrees. And they're off. There's a bit of a twitch on the start line. The officials will be looking at that. Amongst the athletes now who should be coming out of the water fairly high up, Bozilov from Bulgaria has shown good pace in the water for the last couple of years. Whether against this collection of athletes he's able to reproduce that, well, that remains to be seen. The athletes this morning, or earlier this afternoon, sorry, in the women's race, they said it was a little bit choppy. There's a little bit of a wind coming through from the sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and it made it not as easy as they'd hoped for. As you can see, it looks fairly flat. The athletes will swim one lap. It's 750 metres. We can see there on the right-hand side of the group, one of the Kazakhstan athletes stretching out, bringing that group of 4 athletes closer to the front. So 4 distinct groups there. So 750 metres, an anti-clockwise swim. When they come out of the water, there's a run up to transition, which is about just over 100 metres, and a beautifully designed huge transition area. The signage, the branding is it's incredible quality. The build here, when you look at what the organisers have done, is exceptional. It is. The branding is good. It's innovative. It's clear. The city has really put themselves behind this race. And walking in this morning, the roads that have been closed by the police, beautifully managed. The traffic is not that inconvenienced because there are 2 very big roads here on the promenade area, separated by about 60 or 70 metres. And these 2 roads by shutting one down, it means that the traffic simply goes to the other one, and it's not a great inconvenience, because coming to a city like this, what we don't want to do is upset the locals with our races. This is the end of the season, so for lots of the hoteliers, they're very happy that so many athletes have come here. For the bars, the cafes, they're all delighted, and the many stray cats have made great friends of triathletes. If you look at the athletes, there'll be photographs with the cats all over the place. So there's a distinct lead, and if it's a red uniform, I would put money on that being Bozilov. Although I might have to take my money back, because if that's a Polish uniform. So Alexander Bozilov has shown pace on the swim and run segments. Silver this year, he's picked up 3 of them. That was at the Junior Cup in Chisinau. He went back and he put to bed the particular ghost of the disqualification he had last year. He had a silver medal at the European Aquathon Championships in Menen in Belgium, and also at the Balkan Championships, as we said, in Bar. Bronze, he picked up that at the European Cup in Tabor and in Izvorani, 2 races on the junior circuit. Last year he was 15th. This year he's stronger, but it's been a long season for him. Between racing triathlon, he's also, under the instruction of his father, been racing quite a lot of distance races, running races. Whether it's going to take too much out of him as a junior remains to be seen, but this is the last race of the season, and he will be wanting certainly to get on the podium, and perhaps even to go for the gold. So a clear lead of about 3 meters there in the water. We did have a bit of a problem technically with one of the drones in the first race, where some radio interference was making it not do what it should have been doing, but hopefully that's sorted out. We've had a chat with the cameraman, so we may get some slightly different images for the men's race than compared to the women's race. The bike course is dead flat, absolutely dead flat, but very fast, with 3 180-degree turns. Those turns will certainly be where the stronger cyclists will want to accelerate into and accelerate out of to try and break up any packs behind them. And chatting to the athletes yesterday, a lot of them were saying, we think it's going to come down to the run. Well, that theory went out of the window with the women's race, where the lead athlete in the swim was the Turkish athlete, followed by the athlete from Latvia. We had Selinay Tucekur and Beate Bühler. They led out of the water with one of the Azerbaijan athletes, but out on the bike it was the effort was simply from the Turkish and Latvian athlete. They powered their way around the 20 kilometers, 3 laps, 20 kilometers, and taking turns at the front, each athlete working very hard. They came into T2, and it was the Turkish athlete who ultimately had the strength on the run to pull away. But a spectacular performance from the Dutch athlete Merel Veldman. End of the season, not a good start for her. She said in the interview she's had a fantastic end to the season, going home with an outstanding run to take her up onto the podium, not only to take the silver medal ahead of Beate Bühler, who ran her feet into the ground. She's been looked after by the medics afterwards, and I must say I wish her a very speedy recovery, because her feet look terrible. So in the women's race, it wasn't down to the run, it was actually from the very start of the gun. Whether we're going to see that in the men's race, well, we've only got a few meters to go before the first of the athletes comes out, and if we can pick out the uniform, it would be wonderful. Just trying to get the start list back up. We've had a bit of a power surge, and so my laptop is not showing me. Ah, here we are. I now have a start list in front of me. That's good. Now this red uniform, if it's Jarosław Jankiewicz Delgado, that's going to be an interesting development. But that initial lead he had going around the top boys is beginning to be eaten into by the chase group. The sea, very salty, they said, which means that they'll be floating quite high in the water. The sighting, they're going to be looking at two rather large yellow uprights which indicate the swim exit. The branding here, I have to say, it's absolutely superb. The branding has taken the classical influence from the region and created swimmers, bikers and runners in the sort of classical Roman or Greek style. You see the pottery you come back with from the Greek islands or wherever, with these stylized figures. Well, they've done the same for the swim, bike and run. It really does look good. And as they come up the ramp onto the promenade, there's a huge sign which directs them into transition, and then it will be a question of getting out on the bike. That does look like the Bulgarian uniform of Bozilov in front. There behind you can see just the yellow. That is the whole length of the transition area. So there's no clear break. We had about a 30-second lead in the women's race, but this is going to be a much closer affair. That's what they're aiming for. As you can see, the swim exit is clearly marked for them. And in the men's race, we have 30 athletes. We've had a couple of withdrawals just this morning. 13 nations are represented. And those nations are Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Italy, Kazakhstan, Latvia, Moldova, North Macedonia, Poland, Slovenia, Turkey and Ukraine. As you can see, the dolphin swim strokes there, because there's quite a shallow shelf on the swim exit. So that's Bozilov and I think that's Shmulich or Krupyakov from Kazakhstan. Definitely a closer race than the women's. Bozilov's got to run up quite a way through transition. He's wearing number 5, so a bit of a long run through transition, but he's being chased down. As you can see from his build, he comes from a swimming background. And that was Maxim Shmulich from Kazakhstan, sorry, wearing number 3. But Bozilov is first out onto the bike. The Turkish athletes now making their way out under these showers, up the ramp, as the athletes begin to stream out onto the bike course. And that was Suchek, Jakub Suchek from the Czech Republic, just heading off. North Macedonian athlete there, that's Stefan Delav, running into transition. Bozilov just sorting the shoes out. He's in. That's not the best position to be. He needs to. He's not going to ride this on his own. He's going to need the support of 2 or 3 athletes behind him. That way, he will get a greater benefit from this, and then he can run pretty well off the bike. So if he uses these 3 athletes behind him, lets them join up, then if they work together, then they will be able to really put the pressure onto the other athletes. So 3, 5. If 5 athletes join him, makes it even more interesting. The road surface, as you can see, extremely good. It's not like the block paving we have in Alanya. It's very, very smooth surface. There's a couple of areas where they have to be very cautious on the bends because the heat and the tyre marks on the road. But the roads here are so very much wider than, for example, the race we saw in Chisinau, where Bozilov suffered on the turns. Already shouting out, making sure that people move to the front, take a bit of work off his, take a bit of pressure for him. So we've now got nearly 10 athletes together now. Quite a large peloton, and because of the size of the turns, the width of the road, they are 180-degree turns, but they won't be too problematic with a group of 10. Now, for some of you listening, if you can hear behind my voice, there's no music. The Turkish government has decreed 3 days of mourning, flags at half-mast, and there's no music to be played. They make an exception, however, for the national anthems, which we'll be hearing later. We'll certainly be hearing the Turkish national anthem for the Turkish winner in the women's race, and, well, let's see what happens in the men's race. So 12 minutes on the clock. Leading group of 10. We'll try and pick out who they are as we go, as the cameramen move in. Each lap 6.6 kilometers. 3 laps out on the bike and then 2 laps on the final run. So, Bozilov, Shmulich, Barats, Krupiakov, Vergani and Balastreri. Boyans, 10, Babanci. Babanci, good position for him. And, of course, the first Turkish athlete in there with tremendous cheers, Kiak. So Barats from Croatia thinking time to put the pressure on. Let's just test this group and see what's going to happen. And Boyants as well is in there. This is interesting. They're really pushing the pace. So two Kazakhstan athletes, Shmulich, Bozilov, Boyants. The Slovenian athlete, Boyants, and the Croatian athlete, Barats. Gabriel Barats from Croatia. He has a gold already this year from the race up in Panavesis in Lithuania. Great opportunity there for the juniors to have a development race. He had a silver last year at the European Cup, and this year, sorry. Silver this year in Zagreb, and a silver in Chisinau. He's the top junior athlete in Croatia at the moment, and was 7th here last year. So he knows the course. Possibly that's why he decided he would put the foot down and test that group. So that's Croatian athlete number 8, Gabriel Barats. So 10 of them. Very soon, the athletes will be turning slightly to their right to hit another dead turn. And then the far turn right at the western end of the course. Once they've gone around that, we'll bring them back towards the race venue, past the large marina. That's 1 lap down, 6.6k done. The 2 Kazakhstan athletes now focused at the front of the race. Shmulich and Krupiakov. Bozilov well placed in there. So, development. This is an opportunity for the junior racing to take place. We heard from John Petridis how important it is that we see juniors having the opportunity to race. We're lucky that here we have one of the key coaches for juniors that has focused on identifying athletes from around Europe with a view to bringing them up through the rankings and potentially to deliver them to the World ASICS team. And we're going to hear from her now.
Our next person to be interviewed has given an awful lot to triathlon, and triathlon has taken a lot from her. And she's here with a very special pair of glasses, because with her glasses she will be watching the development of athletes. Can you tell us please who you are and where you're from?
Hello, first I'm very big fan of you, so thank you for all the inspiration that you bring into this sport. Thank you because you're in Turkey, because it's also a land of inspiration. So I'm here as a head coach of the Europe development team. So we are trying to find and support the top athletes from non-developed countries and put them on the podium and just transfer to A6 team to the World Triathlon competitions.
You're keeping it a secret, aren't you? Who are you and where are you from, for those who don't know you?
Originally, my name is Ljudmila Medan and I'm coming from Serbia.
You've put a lot of work into training. Initially, we watched the way that you were training young female athletes in Serbia, and it was inspirational. Is that a template that is now being used anywhere else?
Yes, I'm super lucky to have World Triathlon as an international federation. They recognize our effort and they really copy that to other people, and they are creating communities. So it's just the difference that to tell the girl you're so good and you can do it, instead of you're not good enough. So it's supporting instead of excluding. So that's just the recipe that I'm following.
How many athletes in the development team do you have with you?
Here it's only 4 athletes, the rest of them just finished the season differently. But Isa on small Slovenian girl, she was 7th in the Pontevedra for under 23, and she's trying really to go to the A6 team and get some support from the World Triathlon to go to the games.
Well, fingers crossed. It's a good course out here for you to watch the athletes. It's a very safe swim. It's a straightforward flat bike. What are the areas that you'll be looking at as a development coach at this flat, fast, sprint distance triathlon?
So first, thanks to the federation and the city, because they support athletes with this super fast course. So everything is so supported just to develop best of yourself. So actually to survive on the run, and even if you are not in the lead on the swim, so you need to come throughout the race and then finish in this beautiful podium. So then we will celebrate all.
Ljudmila, thank you very much for all the work you've done. You're going to be very busy this weekend, I know, and I'm sure you'd like to get back to the athletes. So before we go, have you a message for everyone back home in Serbia who might want to become one day part of triathlon in Serbian?
Actually, I have my athletes from Serbia here, Iva and Lana. Znam koliko ste dobre, idemo dalje.
Well, wonderful interview and insight there from Ljudmila Medan from Serbia, who's put so much work into encouraging junior athletes to take the big step. So the leading group of 10 still there, still working together. The lead they have is maintaining. It's not growing as much as I thought it would. So they really do need to work harder together, push harder, and then ensure that they can get away from that threat behind them, where potentially there could be some very fast runners. In that group, we have the 2 Kazakhstan athletes. We have the athletes from Slovenia, Croatia, Bulgaria, Turkey. Might be missing 1 or 2, but we've got 10 athletes there. Really, now it appears to be pushing the pace. So from Dimitri, he says, Kazakhstan, go, go, go. Well, they're going. They're doing very well at the front there. Katarina says, Group Yakov, you are the best. So Katarina is obviously watching. Don't forget, you can watch these races again. As soon as the race is finished, you can go back and watch the event. And tomorrow, we are hoping to be able to bring you the broadcast not only on Triathlon Live, but also on this platform. So get yourselves ready for the race tomorrow. It's going to be the elite women and the elite men. As you can see, the venue here, it really is very good. This is the dual carriageway I told you about, which is being completely closed down by the municipality. To the right, you have a shaded walkway, and further to the right, there is a cycle path and a running path and a cinder track. And to the left you see the city, the main city. Yenişehir is to the west of Mersin and is pretty much the commercial centre. Lots of really good hotels, cafes, bars, huge supermarkets as well. It's a place you can travel to. The easiest location, the easiest way to get here is to fly to Adana. It's then about an hour's transfer down here. And flying into Istanbul, it's very easy to transfer, get the plane down here. Other nations have chosen to drive across. It's a long journey, but when you get here, the hospitality we've seen from the volunteers, there's lots and lots of volunteers who are here. They are everywhere with big smiles and red t-shirts with volunteer written on them, and they're delighted with triathlon. We spoke to some of them in the interval between the women's race and the men's race, and they'd never seen triathlon before, but they want to see more of it. And from what we heard from Pascal Salamin, the executive board member from Europe Triathlon, it looks like this is going to be coming back next year. The second year we've had the race here, and it looks a lot better. A shame that we've lost some of the athletes, circumstances beyond everybody's control. Bozilov taking a wide turn there. Now, if he falls away like that and they don't go with him, they're going to lose contact with him, and he can run pretty well. So Kuyak, the Turkish athlete, finds himself in that leading group there. The weather, yeah, we just had an update. The water temperature is 27.2. And the air currently at 30, there's a 30.8. There's a very slight breeze off the water. So that group is now beginning to fragment, and I think they've realised that if they let Bozilov go, he's going to run all the way to the podium. There's a bit of urgency we can see now. The 9 athletes have really got to do something, because if they let him go, they won't see him again. As you can see, the road surface, there is absolutely no climbing here at all. Bozilov back in the pack. The threat was made, they responded, and what that's done is that's actually accelerated the group. So you have 10 there from Kazakhstan with Shmulich, Alexander 10. We've also got there the silver medal winner from the race at Dnipro. The Dnipro race, great race that is. It's a very challenging swim course with a very good current in the Dnipro, and then a very good fast bike course with a good climb halfway through, but then a dead flat run. So that was a silver medal he took 2 years ago, and one day I'd be delighted to go back to Ukraine to see the racing there. We have one Ukrainian athlete here who now lives safely with his family in Turkey, speaks very good Turkish. So Yega Krupyakov, number 2 there, from Kazakhstan, in that leading group. Bozilov, Shmulich and 10 together. And who's that who's gone off the front? Is that Boyance? Now the spectators standing in the central part of the carriageway, they have to be careful, because every so often the sprinklers go on, they start watering that central reservation. This is the section where they come away from the seafront and they do another dead turn. It looks quite similar to the race in Quartera, but without the big climb. All this is a disruptive 180-degree turn, so we have 3 of those each lap, and it gives a chance for the athletes, if they can work together, to accelerate in there and accelerate out, rather than slowing down in there and pulling out gently. By doing so, if they've got a tactical brain with them, they will then create more space between them and the chase group. Beautiful cornering there as they come down back onto the seafront, heading towards the end of their second lap. 27 minutes on the clock. This is quite fast. Now that may well be one of the Italian athletes in the lead group. So earlier on in the women's race, we had the pleasure of the company of our executive board member, Pascal Salamin, who has been out to see the start of the men's race and has now just joined us. Pascal, what was the atmosphere like for the start of the men's race, and what can you tell us about what you saw originally?
Yeah, I think to the difference with the women's race is that we have more people, more athletes at the start, and they have more supporters. So the atmosphere was really good. I mean, people were clapping, a lot of enthusiasm, and I think it's a very fascinating race again.
Well, Bozilov came out of the water first. That was,
yeah.
I thought he would do that, and he's been pretty much in command of the bike so far. He managed to group them together. We've now got 10 athletes together. We've got a mixture of Kazakhstan, Slovenia, Croatia, Turkey, and there's another 2 nationalities. I can't quite see what they are. But they're working fast. There was a couple of breakaways which increased the pace.
But then we see they're watching each other. Some are kind of thinking to a strategy. Let's stay at the back of the pack. We see that some people are suffering from the heat behind. They're getting some water on the head.
See Bozilov there getting shouting at the front.
Yeah.
So that's 2 laps down.
He's an aggressive, kind of not aggressive, but he's someone really expressing. You can see on his face what he thinks, and I'm quite sure he's not pleased with the situation.
I think we both saw him race in Chisinau last year. I think his biking is a little bit better now. He's focused more on controlling the bike, and for him, with the wider roads, there's less problem of overcooking the turns.
Yeah.
So he's come into 2023 as a stronger athlete.
Definitely.
My concern is that he's being pushed too hard.
We hear a lot of things, yeah.
But if he races like this and wins it, then it's the end of the season. So for him, it will be a podium appearance to match his other podium appearances so far.
Definitely, and he was kind of very present during the season. He's here with his father and his mother. And he's one of those athletes, you know, taking the family with him. Some are pushed by the family. Here, it's sometimes it's the opposite. He's taking the family with.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the silver medal winner today, her mum is with her. So we had a bit of a chat earlier with Christy Brouwer, who was absolutely thrilled that Meryl Feldman, her daughter, had done so well. We had an opportunity to hear from John Petridis, who spoke about the juniors and how you never know. Amongst these juniors here today, we may see 1 or 2 athletes who will be at the Olympics. And we then heard from Ludmila, who spoke about the development program that Europe Triathlon is currently running. Would you like to expand on that?
Yeah, the first thing, you just mentioned Meryl. I'm very happy with the result today. I recommend you to go on the Europe Triathlon YouTube channel. You will see that we did small reportage interviews, and the crew was following her in Caorle this year. And the topic is very interesting. She's talking about her parents, about the way it is, the relationship with the family, and that brings us towards development. Some people are doing it in a way. You can see it with the Meryl story. And some other people need help and support, and this is where the Europe Triathlon Federation is trying to work. And people like Ludmila are really caring about the future, then the next groups, and try to find solutions for less developed nations in terms of triathlon to be successful too.
And the funding from Europe Triathlon, that's ring-fenced for the juniors, isn't it?
We have a funding to develop. We can then think, I mean, should it go more to national federation? Should it be kind of helping them to buy the necessary stuff to be able to run a federation, or should it go directly to the juniors? So we decided we go kind of both ways. Each federation can submit some requests, and on our side, institutionally, we are trying to get development camps, development groups, some Europe Triathlon team in order to help the athletes to progress.
Do we have the schedule already for the 2024 season? Is there going to be another one of the youth development camps?
Yes, definitely. But the schedule is going to come at the end of the month. Normally, I hope we can publish it and plan all the things. For the development, this is the schedule for the races. Then for the development camps and things like that, it's going to be a bit later in the season because everybody is going to meet towards December to discuss what are exactly the
that's good news. So we need to keep watching the Europe
Yeah.
Triathlon website to find those dates. We're talking about ending the season now, but we're already planning ahead for 2024 because, okay, it's an Olympic year, and whilst the Olympic athletes will be focusing on that, we can't forget the juniors, because the juniors and the under-23 athletes are the future generations of Olympians. And it's so important, and I see that Europe Triathlon is a tremendously fertile ground for the under-23s and for the juniors. And it's really wonderful to see that focus having the results that we're seeing.
I mean, just watch the picture that you have in front of you. It's a wide street. It's a huge street for the juniors. It's kind of WTCS conditions, and we could just see in the previous frame that the athletes were watching behind, trying to understand the strategy. And we need races such as this one in order to help the athletes learn what is the strategy in triathlon. I mean, we've seen in Paris, I don't know if you remember, we did this rehearsal, and the men race was totally different than the female race. At one point, everybody got together, and everybody was wondering, what should I do, and those type of things. I mean, if there is a reason to learn, and how can you learn? I mean, we have both examples now. I mean, they are learning. Should I push? Should I stay behind?
Well,
very fascinating to observe.
The junior men were all saying yesterday it's going to come down to the running.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're delivering. 10 people, 10 athletes, all at the peak of their fitness, having a superb bike ride, but taking 10 of them together into transition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be the fastest runner. Or the athlete who doesn't make any mistakes on the dismount, the helmet going into the box, and getting out and getting the run sorted. So, again, the smallest error is a 10-second penalty.
Were there any penalties so far?
I've not heard anything so far. The referee has been a long way away from the finish board, so I've not heard whether there's any penalties.
We'll see. But they're constantly looking behind, checking, observing, and thinking, am I stronger on the run than that one or not? So it's kind of a suspense for them. And I've been lucky this year because I could interview some of them. I know that I think it was in Wales. I could interview Barak, the Bulgarian athletes. I mean, we're trying to present them during the races and have a look.
We just had a look at some of the background data, and we know that we've got viewers in Mexico, we've got viewers in Argentina, we've got viewers all over Europe, and it's great because they're seeing these athletes on a superb course and really enjoying it.
Yes, definitely. And sometimes they travel around the world just to come and watch and participate to some races, and they bring their family with them. I mean, it's great.
Well, for many of the athletes today, we've got an international debut for the Polish athlete, Jarosław Jankiewicz Delgado.
Okay.
It's his first race, his first international race.
Cool.
And for some of the Turkish athletes, it's the first opportunity they've had to race internationally, and on such a safe course. So this is the pretty much only about a quarter of the lap to go now.
Yeah.
I described this as being very similar to the race in Quartero, but without that huge hill.
Yeah.
And okay, it's still flat, but it is quite disruptive for them. And it gives them a chance to again see the position of the other athletes behind them.
We're back on strategy.
Yeah, and to gauge how they can, whether they can take it easy or not. Oh, and look, the volunteers we talked about, they're keeping the athletes out the way because there's a spill of water on the road.
Yeah.
Those red T-shirted volunteers are everywhere, and they're such great folk.
And they did clean the street a few minutes ago. I mean,
they swept it again?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they're sweeping it as I came in this morning.
Yeah, they are trying to get the perfect race. I mean, juniors or elite, they don't care. They do their best. I mean,
those
the
are good
group
images,
is
aren't
not
they?
far away. Huh? The second group has a chance. I mean, if they don't push it till the end.
No, that acceleration you see in the background there, I know the camera foreshortens it, but we saw Bozilov and Barants both had a go at the front to try and pull them forwards, and for a while it did accelerate. This turn here, once they've gone round the turn here, then it's straight back, and they'll be about 400-500 meters from the entrance into transition.
Yeah, we have
that's
some,
the arena. The marina on the left-hand side, which is vast.
And it's a cool course. We have even some spectators like cats and dogs going around.
I was saying how lots of the athletes have got photographs with the cats.
Ah, yeah.
There's like Street Cats of Yenişehir is probably going to be an Instagram hit later today.
Seafood for them everywhere.
So now we see a bit of jostling for
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
Coming into T2, the best position to be is right at the front. You don't want to be behind them, anybody else, because if somebody trips or falls, then you're straight into them. There's no chance for you to change your direction.
Yeah.
Shoes are coming out, or feet are coming out of the shoes.
It seems that Kazakhstan is well placed, right?
They are very well placed. And here onto the carpet, dismount line there, big dismount line, nice and clear, carpeted all the way down.
Yeah, definitely.
10. And we also picked out Balestrieri from Italy there.
Yeah.
That's he's the older brother. He was born in 2004. There's two of them racing today. Now, the athlete who's got the lower number racks the bike quickly, shoes are on, potentially can be out of transition before the others if he has a quick transition. He hasn't. There's something going wrong there. He's struggling there. So the opportunity he had has gone. But the two athletes at the front, that's going to be certainly Bozilov and Krupyakov.
The second group is there already.
I think they're going to have to work extremely hard if they want to try and catch.
I just hope we are going to see the two groups to see what is the strategy of the first one and the second one. Now someone missed the transition, it's never good.
Well, with the women's race, it was nice to see that little bit of testing. The first two athletes, Turkey and Latvia, running side by side, just stretching out, and then the Turkish athlete kicked.
They both mentioned the heat. I mean, especially the Latvian girl said, I mean, it's very hot. I think it's slightly less now than it was before for the women, but that has to be taken into consideration.
Again, for the athletes from Bulgaria and Kazakhstan, I wouldn't have thought that the heat is that problematic. But for some of the athletes from the northern countries, although there's water for the athletes everywhere, and they were reminded again and again by our race technical delegate.
Kazakhstan 1 and 2, huh? Right?
Yep. So that would be 10 and Krupyakov together with Bozilov gradually dropping off the pace.
Definitely, and the fourth
He's
one
struggling.
too. Yeah.
So 4 at the front, Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, and I think it's either Croatia or Slovenia.
Could be Barak, yeah. Seems to be very tall with the leg. Yeah, the two Kazakhs are really running. It's Barak? Yeah.
So the two Kazakhstan athletes looking very relaxed at the front.
Yeah, definitely.
And completely different shapes.
Yeah. And Bozilov is out, and Barach is trying to...
Oh dear, that's a disaster for him. It's the end of a very long, very mixed season for him.
For sure.
But on the seafront here, you can see the wider promenade. Okay, so Alexander Ten and Alexander Bozilov with Krupyakov from Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan, Bulgaria, Kazakhstan, Turkey. Athlete from Turkey, Kyak, has dropped back a bit, but we think that's Domen Boyants from Slovenia, number 6 in 3rd place at the moment.
I would have said it was Barak from Croatia.
Ah,
Let's see. I hope the camera is showing
let's see
us.
if it's... Well, actually, I think you're right. It's more likely to be Barat's because he's had 3 podiums this year.
Yeah, I've seen him a few
Okay.
times this year.
So that's the Croatian athlete.
But I'm
Need to
not
see the
sure.
side panel of the uniform.
I
don't we?
just know that he's very tall, and I could see that the guy running 3rd is a tall one. Makes
Mhm.
long.
The light is so good.
Yeah.
It's actually too bright. So the cameras are because the cameras are pointing into the sunshine. We're not picking out the colours on the uniforms.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful sweeping area. As you can see to the left there, that's the marina entrance, which does create some protection for the swimming area.
Yeah.
It's got potential, this venue, hasn't it?
Yeah, the only thing is that the starting place, I mean, it's sand. It's one area with sand, and then, as you can see, you have blocks of stones everywhere. So there are not that many places where you can do a start and an exit. On the right, I mean, the cameraman should show us the arms that we sometimes see on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
So
we can see
Kurpiakov
there.
is edging ahead there, and this is
Yeah,
to the turn point.
the second one was yes, it's Barak.
Barat, thank
Yeah.
you. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that's Gabriel Barat with gold this year in Palaveshis, silver in Zagreb, and bronze in Chisinau.
Yeah.
So that was coming into T2. And it's good to see that none of the athletes were lapped. By having 3 laps on this course, it actually gives some of the developing athletes a chance to finish the race and to get some points.
Yeah.
And to get the experience and not to be disillusioned by being told you're lapped. When you see courses that are 20 kilometres and they're reduced down to 6 laps, it's a disaster for developing nations. Barretts is looking quite comfortable there. He's actually
Yes,
bridged
that's
that gap.
Strange way. If you look his left arm, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it comes across the body.
is really kind of running, but the two other one are really together. It's strange when the first one, the one in front, is asking for a relay. The second one goes so fast, and then he makes a break. So, looking forward to the next.
I think
round.
Alexander 10 is looking very relaxed. That's a lovely running style he
Yeah.
has.
Definitely.
And you saw grabbing water. There's a water station there, and the littering zone. They've just left the littering zone, so he was well inside the littering zone there. Again, this is something triathlon has started, and other sports have followed. The idea of chucking gels and bottles everywhere is something from the past, and the success that we've had in managing this as a sport is now being picked up by other federations. Good.
No, that's good, and this is a challenge. I'm Swiss, as you know, and we have some ski races in Switzerland, and where they are trying to adapt the mountain to be able to make races. And in triathlon is the opposite. We're trying to clean the environment, to clean the water, to make give the possibility to the athletes to run in clean waters. We know this is a challenge, so we are facing environment issues. If we have many races cancelled due to the heat in the water, not the full race, but the water quality is definitely a challenge for us. It's
The beauty here is we have again and again along the Turkish Mediterranean coastline, from one end to the other, it seems, the quality of the water is exceptional. We've had races in Antalya, which is being used by the Open Water Swimming Federation for long distance races because they can guarantee the quality. So the two Kazakhstan athletes, without any real visible acceleration, they've dropped the Croatian athlete.
And the second one did turn the head, he noticed.
Yeah.
But in fact, I have the impression the first one is just going his own way, his own pace. And I have the impression it's faster, don't you think so? Suddenly the pace is a bit higher.
I think if it comes to a sprint, I think 10 is probably got the advantage there.
Probably. And you see now the camera is filming in on a kind of very small Steadicam called the gimbal, and that's the reason why you have suddenly some freezes and then you catch up again like now. And this makes those funny effects.
Alexander 10 was 9th here last year.
Okay.
So he's looking in a very good position. He's going to improve on that. He's also the reigning junior Asian champion.
Okay.
That's from the championships they held earlier in Gamagori. But he's also raced in some of the European races, up at Rzeszów in Poland, taking a gold there last year. So he
just
has
passed the penalty box.
Yep. So
They
that's
are
clear.
doing their lap.
There's-
Couldn't see if there was anything in the penalty box, anything special. We don't see the Croatian behind. Did you
He's
see
been
it?
absolutely dropped, hasn't he? Wow.
Strange. Or did you see him passing? I'm not sure.
Oh, we
Yes, he's here.
Yeah.
Oh, explode.
We do
Okay.
have one penalty. It's number 14, and that is going to be a penalty for the younger of the Balestreri athletes, and it's for equipment. So that looks like it could be a helmet outside the box.
Yeah.
So that's Marco Balestreri, wearing number 14 from Italy. He's got a
I think
10-second
it's
penalty.
Bodzilov there, right? In red, white, and green. Could be.
Yeah, he's dropped
la,
back.
la, la, la.
Oh, Pedicardi, bit of a stitch there. Boyance from Slovenia behind. Vergani. The Italians have come. There's quite a strong Italian team here. But
Look at the pace. The two Kazakhs and just the one we saw are suffering, and here.
I'm looking forward to seeing the run splits.
Yeah.
The results will be up on the World Triathlon results page. They may even have got the junior women up already, but it's something that I always like to look at because you can read the race from those results.
Yeah. So I'm probably trying to do
He's looked behind him.
the post-race interview after. I just hope that the two Kazakhs will be able to understand a bit of English. Otherwise, you will have to translate Kazakh. and
If
Poland,
not,
I'm not sure.
then I think we could use Sasha, the technical official, who can
Yeah, then
speak
it
Russian.
will be Russian. Yeah.
So from your point of view as a course, are you happy with this as a course for the juniors?
Definitely, this is the type of course we need. It's European Cup, but we see that some people coming from Asia are joining, and this is very important because then you kind of know the level of the other continents. So it's a good lesson learned for the European to know that. I mean, those two Kazakh compared to Bodzilov and to Barak, who were running in Europe the season, you can check their level and you can compare. And this is the way we can make triathlon grow.
I've just had a quick chat with race referee Carl Vikins from Ireland. He's one of the self-funding officials who's come out here. Carl Vikins, Ian Hazeldine, both from Ireland. Sasha Kochitkov from Lithuania. They've come out as self-funding officials. And Carl was explaining that the only penalty they've had so far is for the Italian athlete, which is pretty good. So it shows that the coaches have been working very well, and the athletes have been listening to the coaches.
Yeah.
But Alexander 10, he just looks so very relaxed there.
Yeah. He's not caring about what is happening behind.
No? You had a chance to talk to both the regional governor and the mayor.
Yeah.
How happy are they that we've come to this venue for the end of the season?
So they are really happy. They are doing the effort. Like I said before, I was talking to the head of police as well. They are trying to make the best out of this region. They are investing in order to do that. I mean, we have the full support of them. If you have this type of support, then what you need to do is to have a national team which is at the level. The opportunity for Turkey now is to have a lot of juniors athletes. They are not totally at the front now, but they will learn a lot. And having a national race for juniors is very important for nations. So some of them are doing that in order to get their juniors to learn how to run internationally. And Turkey fully understood that. They have junior races, they have a national race. They are talking about having para triathlon next year on some places, perhaps even here
with
in
a
Yenişehir.
president such as Baram Yanchukaya, who is an age group athlete himself. He has an understanding of the sport, which is, it puts him in a very good position to represent at international level the sport and for Turkey.
Yeah, and definitely the way, the network which is done between the regions, the federations and the local organizer, because the local organizer has a strong responsibility too, and it works fine. In some Western country, we have difficulties to have junior cups. If I take my example in Switzerland, it's very difficult to get a junior cup organized.
So we're beginning to see the battle at the front. We saw Alexander Ten just glancing over his shoulder there.
Yeah.
He hasn't shaken Krupiakov off just yet.
Krupiakov is like coming back, leaving a few meters. I don't know. We'll see.
He's actually moved up closer, so he's right on his shoulder.
Yeah.
It's a massive threat, but mostly in running races you find that the athlete behind the leader has that advantage. But his running style doesn't look as relaxed as Alexander Ten's running
and
style.
the pace. I mean, he's doing longer ones, so normally it's a bit more difficult when it comes to sprint. We'll see.
Well, it won't be long now
The
before...
frequency from the one in front is impressive.
So Krupiakov there, glancing over his shoulder, he knows that he's got a podium position. It's just to see how far behind him Barats is. I'm not sure if he's dropped right back, because we haven't had the cameras focusing on the chasing group.
Yeah, we've asked for it.
But very soon we're going to see that large separation point where the athletes have to go to the left. In the junior women's race this morning or this afternoon, earlier on we saw a bit of confusion. This is the point where the athletes turn to their right for the second lap, but they carry on to the finish.
So waiting for the two Kazakhs to arrive, is that the idea? Oh. Okay.
That's it, round to the outside.
I mean, if you cut and you don't come back, then you're disqualified.
But
so
he left the course, he rejoined the course at the point that he left it, so there's absolutely no question there.
Exactly, so he did well. Otherwise, it would have been a tough decision for the referees. So this is the penalty box. As you can see, we
and
have
you can see there's a letter E there.
Yeah.
That letter E is to indicate to the athlete that it's because of their equipment being outside the box. They use different letters to indicate what the penalty's for. And this is also part of the athlete's briefing.
And the coach. I mean, the coach can help. I mean, if you are doing a race, you're really tired, you need the help of the coach. And sometimes you hesitate, should I do the penalty at the beginning or not? Most of the people do it at the last minute, but you could do it differently according to the race situation.
And then when we get the relays, it could be any number of penalties for any number of athletes served at the last point.
So, change the...
Yes. Ten has dropped back and Krupiakov has edged forwards.
Everybody's looking back.
Is that tactical? That's
I
a
think
big
I
body.
will move and leave you with the suspense, and I
Okay,
will leave you to try and do some interviews.
Well, Pascal will be going to the finish line. Thank you very much for your insight.
Thank you.
It's the final stages of this race, the men's race, the junior men's race, with the two Kazakhs having led most of the way on the run. Krupiakov and Ten battles side by side. Ten edging to the left, edging past Krupiakov. That was a good tactical move on his part to stay behind and then to kick. And it looks like it will be Ten all the way down to the finish line. Krupiakov has held that lead. And is he suffering? Yes, he is. Just a stride in ahead of Ten. But look at this. The Italian athlete, Balestrieri, has come through and has taken the bronze medal. Bronze for Italy. Fantastic performance there. That's one of the two brothers. What a great race there for Italy, coming all the way through. But the two Kazakhstan athletes there, they gave an absolutely fantastic display of running. That must have hurt. That last section into the finish line must really have hurt. So Andrea Balestrieri, I think that's number 32. Our assistant technical delegate there just putting some well-needed water. That looks like Bozilov. Yeah, that wasn't the race that he wanted. He was in such a great position there to get onto the podium, and it all fell apart on the run. So just have a quick check and see if that's number 32. That's the older of the two Balestreri brothers. Lucas Lanziger from Italy. This is a man who's perfectly happy on the cross circuit and on the winter triathlon circuit, with golds this year in Lake Garda and last year in Asiago on the snow at altitude. Bojans from Slovenia. Grabbing the water there, and just to the left of the screen is the exit point for the athletes who can get straight out into the shade and get the necessary fluids. And this is a Polish athlete, Jankiewicz. Kujak in that lead group earlier on in the race. Michalek, Czech Republic, and the younger brother, Balestreri. As you can see, the athletes are taking every advantage of the shade. There's a really good team of volunteers and medics here at the finish to look after the athletes. The efficiency I've seen here, I'm right at the finish area. It's one of the best commentary positions I've ever had, and I can sit here and watch everything that's happening behind the scenes, and I have to say I'm really impressed with the way that the organisers have got everything under control. So Kazakhstan and Italy, that's to fill the podium. Yegor Krupyakov, Alexander Ten, Andrea Balestreri. Good finishes from them. 16:08 on that final run from Krupyakov. Bozilov just missing out there, 5th place, with Gabriel Barrett taking 4th. Shmulich, Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan having 3 athletes in the top 6, that's good. Pascal was talking about the location of Turkey and how easy it is for athletes and officials to move around. It's also a great opportunity for athletes who are outside of Europe to travel into Turkey, because for many of the athletes there is no visa restrictions upon them, and that makes the whole participation process a lot easier. So that's an athlete from Moldova, Daniel Babanci. Looks like he's done a lot better than last year. 27th here last year, a lot higher this time. So that's Özür Kuşu and Araçı, 2 Turkish athletes just crossing the finish line, and a celebration there. Pressure was upon the Turkish junior males to deliver, having seen their wonderful gold medal in the junior women's race, but it wasn't to be their day today against a very strong team from Kazakhstan. Jakub Suchek, it's his first race in Turkey, now finished, gets a chance to cool down. Altandus, and it's his international debut. First time he's ever raced on an international field. Well done. Our technical delegate there, the assistant technical delegate, with pouring the water over the athlete. She knows what she's doing. She's a cardiovascular surgeon in Istanbul, as well as being a pretty good triathlete herself. So that's your race venue. Behind it, the big car park is for the marina, and if you wanted to expand the race, there's every potential that that car park could be used. This is a venue that has got such potential, and I'm delighted that Pascal Salamin has been able to sit down with the organisers and the federation and the region and the mayor of the city and give them the idea that this is an event that could become bigger and bigger and better. So as the sun is gradually slipping down, the temperature is dropping a little bit. We'll be moving as soon as the results have been analysed and checked and then double checked. We'll be moving to the awards ceremony, and that's scheduled to take place in about half an hour's time. And hopefully we'll be broadcasting that to you as well. And as I said earlier, there is no music being played, but there will be national anthems being played. So that will be the national anthem for Kazakhstan, for the men, and for Turkey, for the women. So we're just waiting for the link to go in to get the interviews done on the finish line. What we don't want to do is to start the interview and then the signal drops. So we're just testing and retesting the link to make sure it works, and that the camera is ready, and that Pascal has the microphone, and also if we need to get somebody who speaks English or Russian to interpret for the Kazakhstan athletes.
You did a wonderful race. It was a team race, very strategic. Can you tell us a bit about it in Russian?
У нас была хорошая тактика, командная работа. Мы знали, что у нас получится так, потому что мы хорошо готовились. Мы увидели, что у нас большие результаты. Мы были уверены в том, что мы победим.
Okay, I seen that during the bike you were watching a bit the things, going a bit back and in front. Could you check everybody, the strengths there? You should listen. I've seen that during the bike he was watching behind a bit to try to observe the other one. In order to see how strong they are. Did he do that, or was I mistaken?
Вы пытались как будто сначала уехать, но там тоже сильные спортсмены ехали.
Ну, у нас была такая тактика, мы решили пару раз обмануть, что мы хотим уехать, и нам что нам стало плохо. Но мы были уверены, что мы побежим и зайдем в транзитку первый.
And during the run, your colleague was always in front. At one point, you were going back and up again. I was thinking, oh, he's tired. But no, it was tactic again?
Всю дорогу бежал первым, а ты сзади бежал. Это была такая тактика у вас?
Да, была такая тактика, потому что я тащил его на плавание, следил за этим, чтобы он не слетел, потому что он чуть послабее меня плывет, а я чуть послабее бегу. И вот мы решили сделать так.
How many races do you do in Kazakhstan at a very international level for you during the year?
В год сколько международных гонок в Казахстане у тебя проходит?
2-3.
Okay. 2 or 3. Yeah. So congratulations and really well done, and I wish you the best for the future.
Поздравляю тебя, желаю всего самого.
Спасибо большое. Еще будем приезжать к вам.
Спасибо.
We saw Pascal disappearing into Pascal, I think we saw you disappearing into interviewer's hell there. It must have been very difficult, but what I did hear was that it was a tactic, a team tactic, to go out on the bike. So I'll give you now back to the microphone and to Alexander 10. Pascal, over to you.
Yes, you're right in your translation. From what I understood, definitely it was a tactical race. They did observe the athletes during the bike, and very team tactics. So I will ask to Alexander the same question. Was it all planned? Was it a strategy? Did you decide yesterday during the lunch, let's go this way?
Всем привет, я так понял. Я безумно рад, слов у меня сейчас просто буря эмоций, не могу подобрать, но по стратегии хотели вместе выплыть, вместе приехать. Ну, пытались уехать, конечно, но видно, спортсмены очень сильные, очень тяжело было держаться в пачке, а уехать уже было очень проблематично. Но с самого начала мы хотели прибежать вдвоем, и это у нас получилось. Я безумно благодарен всем. Нашей федерации, родителей, Егору, тренерам, Максиму, Сергею, всей нашей команде. Я просто безумно вас люблю. И я безумно рад. Спасибо всем. Спасибо Галамжану Шахмадановичу за такую возможность. Спасибо моей девушке Милене, что поддерживает всегда. Я всех люблю, мама, папа, всех люблю. Дальше только победы, только новые успехи.
He did thanks everyone, he did thanks his father, his family, the team, the federation. I mean, they planned, they hope to do so, and in the end it works, so it's really wonderful. Is Kazakhstan going the next winning country in triathlon in the next years?
Будем продолжать до конца, до следующей Олимпиады. Вот. Только победы, только успехи, будем тренироваться. Казахстан еще покажет себя. Алга, Казахстан.
Okay. Well done. Thank you, Paul. I'm trying to find the Italian athlete now.
What a fantastic interview that was, Pascal. It was, you could see and feel the emotion there, and it was wonderful. It was a really passionate interview. So Delev, our athlete from North Macedonia, good to see him coming all the way down to the finish line now. It's great that we've got all of our athletes finished. And getting great support there from the spectators. We've had a series of races in North Macedonia in Lake Ohrid. What a venue that has proven to be. Again, it's an opportunity for development in the region, and the venue is particularly good. So Lake Ohrid, OHRID, look out for that one. Hopefully it'll be back onto the calendar for next year. But the last 2 or 3 years we've had events there. It's been very popular and very well organised. So our race referee there, that's Mustafa Shirin in the dark blue, and the technical delegate John Petridis in the light blue. Just having a quick discussion about the results. They will be checked and double checked by Carl Vikins, who's the head referee for the men's race, and as soon as that's done, they'll be published up onto the web. And once they've got that sorted, we'll be moving just behind where I'm sitting to the award ceremony, where we will see the medals, flowers and a small gift being presented to the junior athletes, and an opportunity to get a great photograph of all of them together. As the excitement dies down, we can see one of the many street dogs just nonchalantly wandering through the finish area, making his way down to the beach. All of the dogs have got tags on their ears. They're all looked after. They're all fed by local people, stroked by visiting tourists, and they're wonderfully, wonderfully relaxed. Fortunately, they sleep during most of the day, so we didn't see the dogs running across the bike course, but yeah. Well, we've been unable to find our Italian athlete Andrea Balestreri. If we can find him at some point, we'll do an interview. But it's a waiting game now as we wait for the results to be sorted.